Good morning, I'm Sabrix Khan, creator of Nubia and RICE mods and a member of the Fallen Eagle team. In the past year, I've been very busy with real life and haven't modded as much for RICE as I wanted. Despite this, RICE has grown greatly from its fourth struggle, the Sicilian frontier, to successful collaborations with mods like the Fallen Eagle, Rajas of Asia, Oriental Empires, Eclipsed Crown, Dharma Chakra, Baptism of Rus, Muslim Enhancements, and many more. If you're watching this live at ModCon, you likely just saw the reveal trailer for RICE's next flavor pack, Nubia, Heirs of Kush. Today, this video will give you a preview of the Nubia update. We'll talk about the two new situations for Nubia and Egypt, and what situations even are in the first place. Before I start, I want to mention that everything in this video is a work in progress, even more so than videos I did for previous ModCons. I've been busy with the Oblivion remaster, so I haven't finished as much for this ModCon as I wanted. There will be missing text and art, and some things just won't work. Still, hopefully I can give you a taste of what's to come for RICE. So now, without further ado, let's get started. The Nubia Flavor Pack will be RICE's first flavor pack using the new situations mechanic added by the Paradox devs with the Cons of the Steppe DLC. But what are situations? Some of you might be familiar with struggles, whether in vanilla or RICE. If you don't know, struggles are a mechanic allowing for special gameplay in a region to give it a narrative focus. Situations are like struggles, creating a strong thematic narrative for a region, but with greater flexibility. For instance, unlike a struggle, you can make rulers outside the situation region be involved in it. Now that we know what situations are, let's take a look at the two coming with the Nubia Flavor Pack. The first situation we'll take a look at is the Nile River. If you played RICE before in Egypt, you might have interacted with my old Nile flood mechanic, where counties along the Nile get different modifiers every year depending on if the flood is good or bad. The Nile River Situation is an evolution of that old system I added years ago, with a sleek new interface and additional features. For instance, instead of modifiers, different kinds of floods are now represented as phases that change every year. Here on the screen, I've shortened the phases to a few days to demonstrate how the Nile flooding can change randomly, but in the final version it'll obviously be every year. The Nile situation also now covers all of the Nile, including Nubia, so it's not just in Egypt. Just like the previous system, there are different activities and decisions to let you interact with the Nile in different ways. The old ones for Egypt, like the activity to pray for a better Nile flood, still remain, but as a Nubian ruler, you'll have access to different mechanics than the Egyptians. Through the Heirs of Kush tradition, you can take a decision to engage in Nubian agricultural practices, with 4 options that give different bonuses to your counties: expand irrigation networks, maintain hafirs, import cattle, and breed cattle. The second situation coming with this update, and the more complex one, is the Baqt. It's named after a treaty supposedly agreed to by the Muslim Caliphate and the Christian rulers of Nubia in the 7th century after they fought each other. The Baqt situation is divided into 2 regions, Nubia and Egypt. Contrary to its portrayal in pop history as an enduring peace, the treaty was often broken by both sides. The Baqt's phases of stability, incapacity, and ascendancy reflect how both sides interpreted the Baqt differently over the centuries. Sometimes it was an equal exchange, and other times it was more unequal. The key feature of the Baqt situation are 3 new character interactions Nubian and Egyptian rulers can do with each other to exchange trade goods and get a truce. Nubian rulers can provide 6 types of goods. Egyptian rulers can provide 6 other types of goods. All have different bonuses. The 3 interactions are to propose an equal exchange, demand payment from the other side, or to offer them a gift. Depending on the personalities and skill of both parties and the current phases of the Baqt in each region, rulers might be more or less willing to accept these interactions or prefer certain goods. For instance, if Nubia is in the ascendancy phase, an Egyptian ruler will likely not be able to demand a Baqt payment from them. Besides the 2 new situations, the Nubia update adds plenty of other content you can expect from a large flagship flavor pack for RICE, like decisions, activities, events, historical characters, cultures, faiths, and more. For instance, there is a new local pilgrimage activity to the church at Baganarti, a medieval Nubian center pilgrimage. It was so popular we even have an inscription there by a visitor from France in the Catalan language. Who knows how this guy ended up there? One new decision is to get a religious tattoo, which I originally created for the Fallen Eagle mod, thanks to research by members of the Fallen Eagle mod team. It's a simple event and modifier, but adds a bit of immersion as an East African or Egyptian Coptic ruler. Even today, tattoos are an important part of the religious culture for some groups in this region. Some new content has been also integrated with permission from a couple great mods that have always been fully compatible with RICE. One of them is Ibn Battuta's Legacy, which improves the map while still keeping Vanilla's feel. Like me, its creator Elvain is something of a boomer and old man in the modding community, as he and I have been modding Crusader Kings, the series, for more than a decade, and we were even two of the founding members of the hip collection of mods for Crusader Kings 2. Elvain knows a lot about Africa, which shows in his mod work. The other mod I want to give a shout out to is Africa Plus, a carefully researched African flavor mod originally made by Black Emperor, but is currently being maintained by eFranks. A team of modders is also working on reviving the mod and adding new content for it, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. That concludes our preview of the Nubia Flavor Pack and its two new situations, the Nile River and the Baqt. I want to thank all of you who are still watching this far. Like many kids who are into history, I went through an Egypt phase as a child, but I never grew out of it, and even as a child, I was fascinated by Nubia as well. There was something enthralling about a civilization at the crossroads of the Mediterranean, Middle East, and Africa. Due to the recent tragic history of Sudan, a lot of us forget that at one time this was a prosperous land. One 10th century Muslim geographer praised the great gardens, fountains, and gilded churches of the city of Soba in southern Nubia, for instance. I hope this update will shed light on the underrated and underappreciated history of Nubia. While what you saw in this video is very much a work in progress, as I mentioned earlier, I will put out a few dev diaries in the coming weeks to elaborate on the Nubia Flavor Pack in more detail. Until then, that's all for now. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of ModCon.